kind of a bro talk. Not really bro talk. This is a bit of a serious conversation. So right here, I just got a bunch of quotes from a bunch of researchers and scientists that I'm going to read to you, and then we're just going to talk about it because this is something that needs to be brought up, and especially, as we're going through this pandemic currently, it's almost done. I can't say it's almost done because nobody knows when it's really going to be over. But this is just something that we have to look at as males because this happens a lot. And it happens underneath, I like to call them monsters, monsters under the bed or demons in the closet, whichever way you want to put it. But this is talking about anxiety and depression. So, just some notes that, new studies show that, men don't really experience anxiety and depression in the same form that women do. Just because of, as men, we're not really, society tells us not to show emotions, or we're not supposed to, be afraid of something, and we're not supposed to, have fears or doubts and worries in our mind, and this can be really troublesome. So this first one is from Michael Addis. He says, anxiety is extremely common in human beings in general. He goes further into detail that we know that men compared to women are about as half as likely to be diagnosed with anxiety or disorder. But of course, the big question for people who do research in the field is that really an accurate estimate? So, and this is just kind of rebounding off of just kind of what I was talking about, that, you can't really tell. And it's not something that comes up a lot, because people don't really talk about it that much. And I think it's something that needs to be talked about a lot more often. So, Stephen Hoffman, this is definitely one of the better quotes. There does seem to be some clinical wisdom and a great deal of anecdotal evidence from people that work in mental health and from the people that study men's lives that when men struggle with fear and depression as well, it can tend to come out as more anger and aggression. This is huge. I know a lot of guys who just deal with a lot of shit, and I think something to look at is not whether or not we compare it to somebody else's pain, because everything's incomparable, but we look at, kind of how they're acting. And if they act out in anger and aggression, it could just be kind of a little bit of depression creeping in, or, maybe some sadness and loneliness that is just lurking below. And this could be revolving any of the things that that happened in their past lifetime. So, another one of these great quotes come from Michael Addis, as I was talking about earlier, showing them that they're not by themselves and that there are multiple different options and avenues in which they can proceed in treatment, or even talk about anxiety is huge now. So this is essentially setting up your own therapist. Go find a doctor. I'm not even joking. Something needs to happen. We can't allow ourselves to keep on falling into destructive habits, because the more I find out, the more I read, we males are at a greater risk of suicide. And I know from my personal life that has affected me deeply. So another thing we got to get over is something else that we do have to get over is being vulnerable. Like, we got to drop our ego, our egotistical selves at the fucking door so that we can actually get through the stuff that we need to get through in order to live happy, successful lives that we should be living. We need to lead the life that we're meant to live. I think one of the greatest things that I probably have read is that you want to be the type of person that wants to be met. Like, how you meet those people in life where it just completely changes your life, or that one coworker you can't wait to see, or that just makes your job just a little bit easier. That's the type of person we want to achieve, and that's what that's what life's about, you know, becoming the better person. So a lot of stuff. So anxiety and depression, they are linked in a form of manner, but they kind of go hand in hand. So that's all I have for now, but in a little bit I will be going over ways to actually help out with anxiety and depression. Stay tuned.
Only loner seems to free his mind at night.
At night, my anxiety spikes. Wasn't ever getting sleep, so I decided to write. It helped me figure out a way to fight when my mentality wasn't right. Never thought it would have impacted my life. Now it's like I'm only good when I'm stressing. Like a curse when it only used to be a blessing. They don't even see me as a friend, they don't see me as a man. They just want me for a profit, a check that they want to cash in.
Anyways, going off of what we were previously talking about in the earlier section of the video, we've got how to deal or self-treat or ways to help out with anxiety and depression. So definitely the first thing I recommend is getting a therapist, because this is definitely one of the things that we males don't like to do. We don't like to go ask for help, and it sucks. The amount of fear, the amount of anxiety, the amount of ego I had to drop at the door to say, yo, there's some shit in my life that I can't fix, and I need some help. Like, a lot of that stuff happens, and it doesn't even have to be bad things that happen in your life. It doesn't have to be trauma. It could literally just be life itself, whatever form of hardships that we face. Like, it all matters, you know. So definitely therapy is option number one. The second thing that you should talk with your therapist or maybe a psychiatrist about is medication. Me, myself, I take medication that helps out with my anxiety and depression. I don't quite remember what it's called, just because I forget, honestly. Like, I could read it and I'm like, yes, that's what it is, but then tell you a little bit later. Nope. So medication is definitely an option. I highly recommend it. I used to be super against medication because that's just something that I thought was just, it made me feel weak. I thought I was going to be weak for taking it. I thought I was going to be, you know, an unvalued person. But in reality, saying that you have stuff that you can't have help or you need help with, in the long run, that makes you strong. Because being able to say, hey, I need help with this is crucial. That's a crucial life skill that I didn't have beforehand, that I do have now, though. Thank goodness. Holy smokes. So the next thing is meditation, or some form of relaxation. So this is like any sort of like guided meditation. You're gonna find, you know, any sort of way that you think relieves stress. There are good ways to relieve stress and there are bad ways. Please choose the good ways. I don't want to advocate for using drugs or anything like that, but if you go research the use of marijuana, it has been linked to helping those with anxiety and depression, and that's something that should be looked into. I would look into that for sure. The next thing is exercise, and if you guys watch the other videos that I have, this is so important. Exercise is so important, just because what's good for the body is also good for the brain. And part of the things that come with, you know, anxiety and depression is the sense of loneliness, and going to the gym or having some form of community at a place where you can safely relieve stress. It's just, the gym encompasses all of it. Like, and this might just be my experience. This might just be something that I know, and it could definitely be talked about in future conversations that we have. So, continuing of what I was just talking about. So the gym, like I said earlier, it reduces the cortisol levels, which is the stress hormones, and that's what causes part of the brain to freak out. And I want to make a note, there is no fucking way this shit's got to leave. You don't just feel better. For the people who don't have anxiety and depression, you are blessed. I bless up for you. I don't hold anything against you, but for all us motherfuckers who don't have that, or who have the problems of that, it's rough. And there's no way that we can just be told just to get better, because that's not gonna work. That's not how life works. That's not how the brain works. We can't just simply think, okay, today I'm gonna make things better. No, that's why I take medication, is because my brain has a problem with producing enough serotonin to where I feel happy with life. That's my struggles, is that I struggle to feel happy in life, and I constantly want to change my surroundings, my vision, because I can't, my brain isn't producing the happy chemical that it needs. That's why I advocate for eating kiwis, because they're so high in serotonin and they reduce the cortisol levels in your body. So, this is the second part of anxiety and depression among men. Please, I would like to request everyone to just kind of do some further research about it, because not so much about on the internet, but I'm talking about asking yourself the deep personal questions, you know? Asking yourself, am I getting the help that I need? Am I making sure I'm taking care of my body as well as my brain? Also, another thing to consider, am I taking care of my soul? You know, who's impacting my life? Who's in my inner circle? You know, are people hurting me, or are they helping me? I think these are great questions we need to ask ourselves. So, yes, this is the end of the video. So, catch you guys next time.